Hi, I'm Zachary Carney, and today I'll be discussing Reliance Standard Life Insurance and their strategic planning process. But first, I'd like to introduce the participant in my interview, who's Michael Humes. Michael is the manager of management reporting. He's been in that role for about 2 years now. He's been with the company for about 6. And his current role at RSL is to build and analyze monthly, quarterly, and annual income statements. In doing so, he compares actual results to planned results and provides the variance analysis to senior management to let them know what is going on in the company. He also plays a bigger role in the strategic planning process. He is responsible for building the 3-year financial consolidated plan. In building this plan, he works with all the department heads to gather all the financial information on upcoming initiatives, their budgets, and etc. on what they want to implement. Then he works with Delphi Capital Management, which is Reliance Standard Life Insurance's parent company, and in doing so, they work together and they develop a strategic plan and financial plan on how it's going to operate in the following 3 years. Next, there are some key contributors in the organization, and it all starts at the top, basically. So they use a top-down approach in which senior management sets the initiatives, and in doing so, they discuss the improvements that need to be made, what they want to do to improve the certain initiatives, and whatnot. So once they set their initiatives and goals and desires, they communicate this down to the department heads, the managers, the supervisors, which then communicate it down to employees. The employees and department heads work together, and they try to figure out how these goals are going to be achieved. How are we going to achieve the initiatives set forth by our senior management team? In doing so, they develop a strategy and a plan on how these goals are going to be accomplished. Communicate with senior management. Senior management signs off on these plans on how they're going to accomplish goals. So there's the senior management team consists of the Chief Executive Officer, Chris Fazzini, Chief Operating Officer, Mark Marsters, Chief Financial Officer, Thomas Lutter, Chief Information Officer, John Albanese, Chief Claims Officer, Scott Boughton, Senior Vice President of Actuarial, Warren Cohen, Senior Vice President of Sales and Marketing, Michael Wilbur, and Senior Vice President of Human Resources, Robin Harris. And that is the team that is set up to sets the initiatives and communicates them downwards. And once they're communicated down and a plan's developed, the financial planning and analysis team is there to provide forecasts and budgets throughout the entire process of this strategic plan that happens on a yearly basis. And the financial planning analysis team starts their analysis from whenever, and they forecast where they're going to be 3 years to date. Also, they analyze and forecast the income statement and expenses and premiums and revenue. They forecast all of that to see where they're going to end up with each initiative. So I want to talk a little bit about their planning process that I discussed with Michael. So he said it's about a 4-month planning process that they go through. It starts in sometime in June or July. And during this time period, they just start developing end of the year forecast. So, for example, for 2019, right now, they're developing a forecast of where they're going to look at the end of this year. And they've already provided a forecast of what they're going to look at, like at the end of 2021 and 22. So sometime, usually in August, about a month into this process, after the financial planning analysis team gives them the initial forecast and numbers, the senior management team has an off-site meeting from the office in which they discuss the initiatives and the improvements that they want to set forth in the upcoming 3 years and how it's going to improve RSL as a company and help them grow. So this is about a week-long meeting, and at the end of it, they have their initiatives, their target revenues, their target earned premium, turn collected premium, targeted expense ratios, and all their targeted basically plan and budget numbers. So once FP&A receives that information, and they continue on with their analysis, and they start building models and throwing in different scenarios for each initiative that wants to be set forth. So each initiative that RSL partakes in or wants to partake in financial planning analysis provides a forecast on what will happen if they do that initiative. So at the end of this little process, there is the initiatives are set, the objectives are set, and the goals are set. And lastly, the key financial metrics for a 3-year period are locked in, and this is approved by the parent company in Delphi Capital Management. So I want to dive in a little bit further into the planning process. So first and foremost, RSL analyzes what their current situation is. They need to identify whether it's a time of growth, time of decline, time to just be steady. They're always looking, RSL's always looking to expand and grow the company and grow the business. So in doing so, it leads to the second step, which is looking for opportunities for improvement. This could just be departments, or it could be a full company-wide initiative, but each department head looks for opportunities and improvements. The senior management team looks where they can improve as a whole. After they've identified these areas of improvement, they start analyzing. They analyze available resources, if these initiatives will be able to be completed. They analyze market trends, interest rate. They start analyzing every little piece that can go into improving the company. After their analysis, the next step is they discuss their goals. What do they need to achieve? What do they want to achieve in the next 3 to 5 years? And is it obtainable? They use the SMART goal model. And then finally, they work with their teams to implement a strategy to achieve these goals. So right now, Reliance Standard Life Insurance has 3 main goals. And before I introduce them, I just want to give a little background on what Reliance Standard Life Insurance does. They offer group benefit products to companies, so they don't sell insurance on an individual basis, but instead they sell insurance to companies as a whole who supply it for their employees. So they offer 5 main types of insurance, which is group life, standard life, group life, long-term disability, short-term disability, basic care, and stop-loss medical. And these are considered their core group lines of business. RSL administers some of them, and they have a third party administer others. And their first goal is to grow the premium books of the RSL administered products. So they want to continue to create revenue, continue to grow their business and be an actual big player in the market. Their next goal is to improve their technologies. So in 2019, RSL participated in a Deloitte study of expenses in insurance companies. And when they received the results, they saw that they were, when comparing themselves to the top 10 companies in the market, that they were on the lower 25 percentile of technology. So they are investing millions of dollars in improving these technologies. And improving these technologies, they will create efficiencies, increase time savings, and reduce cost. And then finally, their last goal is to increase voluntary production. So voluntary production is basically a buy-up on your original policies. They have it on, they have voluntary group life, voluntary long-term disability, voluntary short-term disability, and a couple other voluntary lines. And the goal is to increase this production because through analysis, they have been able to determine that the voluntary lines of business are the most profitable lines of business. So in order to continue for profits to grow, they want to grow these lines of business. I want to thank you for listening. I'm Zachary Carney. I want to send a big thank you to Michael Humes for taking time out of his schedule to sit down and discuss strategic planning with me. Thank you.